This week on the show, Peacemaker's Steve Agee novelizes a chapter of The Matrix, narrated by Late Night with the Devil's David Dastmalchian, plus Carl Tart. Welcome to The Novelizers.
Don't want your popcorn, don't want your milk duds, don't want my shoes stuck in pools of sticky cola. Don't show me romance, don't show me fist fights, just show me words printed out under the book lights. Yeah, baby, novelize the movie. Give me sentences, paragraphs, and nothing to see. Yeah, novelize the movie. Write a book and turn it into a podcast.
Welcome to The Novelizers. I'm Stephen Levinson. Christine and Kevin have the week off, but I'm joined in the virtual studio by writer-actor Steve Agee. You know and love him for his starring role in the 2018 smash hit Boy Band, but he also appeared in Peacemaker, Superstore, Suicide Squad, New Girl, and more. Steve, how you doing?
Hey, it's great to virtually be here in this virtual studio.
Well, thanks for showing up. You are one of the original novelizers. You've been doing this as long as we've had a podcast.
I have. That's how available I am. Whenever you hit me up, well, for the first one, obviously, but the other two, I've been like, yeah, I'm not doing anything. Let's do it. But they're also really fun.
Well, since you know the show so well, and since you live in LA, I thought you could help us, because every episode, I tell the listeners what the hell this podcast is, and then it's just some word salad, and I end up being confused by what the show is. So how do you tell, when you ask someone to narrate your chapter, how do you describe this show?
Well, I described it to David as, you know how filmmakers will take a book and break it down into a movie. This is taking a movie and breaking it up into a book, breaking it down into a book.
So it's a breakup show.
Yeah, sure, if you want to call it that.
We break movie up.
I mean, that's the simplest way. We're taking a movie and we're making it into a book. And, you know, a lot of the problem, I think, with adapting a novel into a movie is, you know, sometimes novels are like 800 pages, which in a movie would be like 800 hours.
Yeah.
So the tough thing is finding the bits and pieces to use. The great thing about doing this podcast is we're encouraged to expand and, you know, kind of experiment with the scenes that we're given and, you know, have fun with them.
Yeah. I mean, mostly I'm not paying anyone well enough to give them notes. So it's the first draft is the winner.
Well, it's always funny. I'll hand you a draft and you're like, this is great. Feel free to make it longer if you want. And I'm like, oh yeah, I can do whatever I want to this. It's amazing. It's really fun.
Want more.
It's really fun. Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's talk about The Matrix for a second. You're this season we're novelizing The Matrix. Tell me, what was your first experience with The Matrix? Was your mind blown? Were your eyes rolling? How did this movie impact you?
I just remember, I think I might have, this was like 99, 98, right?
That sounds right.
I might have still been at the Groundlings, taking classes at the Groundlings, and I just remember a few friends one night in the parking lot saying, oh my God, I just saw the most insane, like they could not shut up about it. They're like, the visual effects, I've never seen anything like this. People are running on walls. And so I went and saw it the very next day. And this was probably a few days after the release. And I was by myself in the theater and I couldn't believe it. It really at the time was just groundbreaking. Yeah. Now we see a lot of wire work in movies, but this was like, I'd never seen anything like that.
I feel like my friends had one of two reactions. One was, oh my God, I've never seen effects like this before. Yeah. And the other was, oh shit, we're all living in a matrix. This movie is true.
And the more insane, the world we live in becomes, the more that becomes a possibility of, well, maybe it's just somebody screwing with our matrix, you know?
Yeah. And then as it gets worse, people are like, God, I hope we're living in a matrix. And this isn't it.
I know. I
always thought I'd be like such a shitty human battery. I'd be like that battery that explodes and like diarrhea's battery juice all over the.
Oh, I'd be a leaky
computer.
battery as well.
Yeah, that's the word, leaky.
I'd probably be good for, my first 20 to 30 years maybe. And then it's like my human self, it's like I just had my gallbladder removed and,
I would not be
migraines all the time. I'm like, why would you want to get your energy off of this?
Yeah. I would not be a Duracell. I'd be like a Rayovac knockoff.
Yes, I would be the generic version.
So now this is the part of the podcast where we've never had a guest before. So you're our first guest. Yeah.
Nice.
So, but this is the part of the podcast where we tell people why they should donate to our Patreon. And I'm going to let you, I'm just going to throw that to you. I'll make it a yes or no question. Should people donate $1 a month to this podcast?
Yeah. And I'll tell you why. Listeners.
Yeah.
What are you fucking doing with your life? Watching Peaky Blinders for the 8th time? Come on, try some new shit out. This is an amazing podcast. They use amazing writers, comedians, actors. I've never seen anything like this. I'm so happy to be a part of it. You should be really happy to be a part of it too, and go even further into being a part of it. Go into the matrix of the novelizers. Just give $1. It's $1.
There you go. And if we get $1 from this episode, you got yourself a quarter of it, my friend. You earned that quarter.
That's 15 minutes at most parking spots.
So let's catch the listeners up. Not to put you on the spot, but if you can recall what's happened in the movie so far before we get to your chapter.
So I'm assuming that people are listening to this because they have seen The Matrix.
Yeah.
It would be mind-blowing to me that someone hears this podcast and is like, I got to check out this movie.
Right.
So we're at a point where Neo has just recently been freed of his digital self and put into the Matrix. He's been released. Like his mind has been opened. And my chapter happens after he's gone into the Matrix, knowing that it's a computer program, knowing what actually the training program for the Matrix, where he tries to jump off of a building and fails, like they all do, according to Cypher. Everybody fails on their first jump, but he's now completely blown away by the reality of what his world is, as opposed to what he's thought it's been for the past however many years. I'm going to assume he was mid-30s-ish.
Yeah.
That was 25 years ago. And that's where we are.
Great. And can you introduce our narrator for this week?
Oh my God, I would love to. I'm so happy. Our narrator this week is one of my best friends in the absolute real world, not the Matrix, not digitally. David Dastmalchian is someone who I've known for close to 15 years now. I met him through James Gunn. We were supposed to do a movie together that I had to back out of last minute, but we have since worked together on The Suicide Squad. He was Polka Dot Man. He's got a great movie out called Late Night with the Devil. David's having a great career recently. He's really springboarding into action. And he's one of those guys you see him, you're like, oh my God, I love that guy. That's the guy from The Dark Knight. That's the guy. He's in a million things and more recently too. So yeah, this is David Dastmalchian, one of my best friends, who I was a little worried to ask because he's so busy. He's shooting an Apple TV series right now in Canada, but he was kind enough to say absolutely. And so this is my buddy Dave Dastmalchian.
David Dastmalchian, novelize us.
The Matrix, Chapter 10. Neo comes back in the real world exhausted, sore. As he grunts and touches his mouth, he notices a significant amount of blood. "Hey, dickhead, I thought that shit wasn't real," he says to Morpheus, who's also just now coming back to consciousness. Your mind makes it real, Neo, replies Morpheus. What the fuck does that even mean, Morpheus? He snaps. Like, seriously, how did my mind bruise my ribs and make my mouth bleed? He looks around the room and sees Tank. Was it you? Did you beat the shit out of me while I was in the Matrix? Is this what this is? Some kind of stupid fraternity initiation? Because it's not cool to rough someone up while they're basically sleeping. Tank looks confused. Relax, Neo, I didn't touch you, I swear. Neo is not having any of this right now. You know, you could have just put my hand in some warm water, let me piss myself, or maybe drawn some dicks on my face. That would have been a lot less painful. Morpheus tries to calm Neo down. I'm serious, Neo. Neo is ready to punch someone. Dude, stop with that shit. Next thing I know, you're going to try and tell me that if I die in the Matrix, I'll die in here. There is a very long pause. Holy shit. You really want me to believe that? You're trying to say that if I die in a computer simulation, I'll die in real life? That's impossible. It's true, Neo. The body cannot live without the mind. If you utter one more bullshit sentence like that, I'm gonna rip your ears off, Morpheus, Neo yells as he starts to leave the room. I'm gonna go take a nap. And when I wake up, y'all better start making some sense. He pauses at the door and turns back around. And none of you better come in my room and beat the shit out of me while I am sleeping, because if you try it, I swear to God, I'll kill you. And unlike your dumb computer matrix bullshit, if I kill you in here, you die in here. That's just factual science. Neo out. Neo leaves, and Cypher closes the door behind him, then turns to the others. You guys, how hilarious would it be if we snuck in his room tonight and actually did draw a bunch of dicks on his face? An hour later, Neo is out cold on his bunk. The door opens and Trinity tiptoes in with a tray of food and quietly sets it down on the floor beside him. She crouches next to him and stares at his face, his beautiful, smooth face. She takes in the perfect bone structure in his cheeks and his manly, chiseled jaw. Finally, there's a real man on board. She can't help but imagine doing a bunch of pervy stuff to him. Trinity is so caught up in the moment that she leans in. She wants nothing more than to kiss him deeply. Shit, she'd even settle for something a little more outside the box. Maybe she'll just lick his head or pee on his butt. All she knows is that she's got to do something and do it soon. Otherwise, she's going to explode. Suddenly, reality sets in and Trinity realizes how insane this is. She gets up and starts to sneak out of the room. She turns and longingly blows Neo a kiss. He farts in his sleep. And that kind of kills the mood. Trinity turns and walks out, quietly closing the door behind her. She turns to find Cypher standing there silently, judging. I don't remember you ever bringing me dinner, he says. What the hell, dude? What are you doing lurking out here? Trinity asks. He holds up a standard black Sharpie. I was going to go in and draw some dicks on his face, he replied. Trinity laughs. Oh shit, you were serious? Yeah, I don't joke about pranks, Cypher says. Trinity stifles her laugh. Maybe you should wait a few days. He's pretty pissed off at us. Cypher puts the cap back on the Sharpie and lets out a frustrated sigh. Fine. He puts his hand on the door, almost looking through it. There is something about him though, right? Trinity rolls her eyes. Oh, now you're a believer? Cypher shrugs, unsure. I don't know, maybe. But if he is the one, why hasn't Morpheus taken him to see the Oracle yet? Trinity is fed up and starts to walk away. Morpheus will take him when he's ready, nerd. Yeah? Well, maybe I'll draw dicks on his head when I'm ready, Cypher says under his breath. The next morning, Morpheus and Neo walk down a crowded city sidewalk, and for some insane reason, Morpheus has decided to walk against the flow of pedestrian foot traffic. He manages to navigate his way through the oncoming crowd with ease. Neo, on the other hand, is clumsy and keeps bumping into people. Why are we walking against the flow, Morpheus? A frustrated Neo shouts. Morpheus ignores the question. The Matrix is a system, and that system is our enemy. When we are inside and look around, what do you see? Business people? Teachers? Social workers? Social media influencers? DJs? The very minds of people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. Many of them are so inured, they are hopelessly dependent on the system. and they will fight to protect it. Neo stops paying attention to Morpheus and his rambling. When a very beautiful buxom blonde in a red dress walks past him, he's transfixed. She looks just like his ex-girlfriend Debbie, whom he lived with for close to 6 years. It was a tumultuous relationship at best. In fact, the only thing that seemed to keep them together was the sex, and we all know how that can only go so far. His mind wandered back to that crazy time, and he could only remember the happy moments. For the first time in a long time, Neo smiled. Suddenly, he was pulled out of the moment by the harshness of Morpheus's voice. "Are you listening to me, Neo? Are you ogling the blonde in the red dress?" Neo tries to play it off like he wasn't looking. "I wasn't looking at her, bro. I'm straight up woke." Morpheus interrupts. "Look again, doofus." Neo turns to look back at the blonde, only to find the barrel of a gun pointed inches from his face. At the other end of the gun is Agent Smith, and he looks to be all business. "Freeze it," says Morpheus, and the entire world stops moving. Cars, birds, people, even the water in a nearby fountain stops. "Holy shit, this isn't the Matrix," says Neo. Morpheus starts to slowly walk in circles around the frozen agent. "No, it's another training program designed to teach you one thing. If you are not one of us, you are one of them." "What are they?" says Neo, totally confused. "Sentient programs. They can move in and out of any software still hardwired to their system. That means anyone that we haven't unplugged is potentially an agent. Inside the Matrix, they are everyone, and they are no one." Neo snaps. "Morpheus, how many times do I have to stress layman's terms? I don't understand what they are everyone and they are no one means. You need to explain this stuff to me like I'm a 10-year-old. Neo's words fall on deaf ears as Morpheus continues. "We survive by hiding from them and running from them. But they are the gatekeepers. They are guarding all the doors. They are holding all the keys, which means that sooner or later, someone is going to have to fight them." Neo shakes his head. "Please don't tell me that I'm that someone." Morpheus continues. "I won't lie to you, Neo. Everyone who has fought an agent has died. But where they have failed, you will succeed." "Yeah, I'm not really down with the idea of you gambling with my life, dude," Neo says. "Shut up, I'm still talking, Neo. I've seen men empty entire clips at them and not hit a thing. Yet their strength and speed are still based in a world that's built on rules. And because of that, they will never be as strong or as fast as you can be." Neo is perplexed. "What is that supposed to mean? Are you saying I could dodge bullets and shit?" "No, Neo. I'm trying to tell you that when you're ready, you won't have to." Just then Morpheus's phone rings, and he answers. "Hey, can I call you back? I'm right in the middle of my speech about fighting agents." Tank asks how Neo is taking the news. Morpheus looks Neo up and down. Not very well." "They'll have to wait," says Tank. "We've got trouble."
Thank you, David. Of course, every week on the podcast, we interview someone who actually worked on the movie The Matrix. I don't know if you know that, Steve, but we interview someone who
I do know that.
on the film itself. It's amazing how many people are willing to talk to us.
Small world. It's amazing that you're able to find them.
Yeah. And this week, we talked to Carl Tart. So let's roll that tape.
I am here today with a man by the name of Theroy, who was the lot security guard at the movie The Matrix. Hey, Theroy, how's it going?
Hey, how you doing, Kevin? How's it going?
I'm doing all right. Theroy is a great name. I've never heard that one before, so I got plenty of Leroys in my family, but I never heard of Theroy before.
Yeah, my mom's name is Althea, and my dad's name is Roy Dale.
So, how was life as a lot security guard for such a blockbuster movie?
Oh, man, let me tell you something. Living the life I lived in the late 90s as a security guard at this studio line, I got to meet everybody. Everybody had to pass through me. I was the man. Everybody had to pass through me. Everybody had to show me their ID, so I got everybody's addresses. And what I would do is I would write them down, just in case I needed to stop by. I never did. Don't think I'm some kind of creep. But everybody had to pass through me first. They would greet me in the morning. "Hey, Theroy." Some people would be mean. Some people go, "Man, screw you, Theroy." And I'm just going, "All right, now that's Hollywood."
Well, so give me, what's the most famous address you took down?
Oh, the most famous address I took down. Okay, you're going to love this one.
Okay.
Richard Karn, he was hosting Family Feud at the time. Very short-lived stint as the host of Family Feud, but I took down his address. And he actually invited me over for dinner one night, but I had to act like I didn't know where he already lived. He said, "Man, you got over here fast." I was like, "Oh, yeah, it's coincidence."
That's the most famous name. That's the most famous address you took down?
To me, I'm a huge home improvement fan and a huge Family Feud fan. Now, some people may call other people more famous. I got Michael Jackson's address. I got Ronald and Nancy Reagan's address. You could have just Googled that one. And I got, other people. But I think that Richard Karn was the most famous person, in my opinion. That's just me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I just knew it was going to be bigger names. But yes, that's your most famous person. Nothing wrong with that. Is being a lot security guard, is that what you want to always do, or did you want to do anything else in life?
My dream was to be a security guard in the Empire State Building, but that didn't happen for me. So I had to settle for Hollywood.
So when you're on the set of The Matrix and you're protecting the security lot and everything like that, you see these superstars. You see Lawrence Fishburne.
Who is that?
Huh? Excuse me? I didn't. What?
Who is that? Who are you talking about?
Was Lawrence Fishburne?
Yeah. Who did he play in the film?
He was Morpheus.
And was that a big part?
Yeah, it was one of the biggest parts. I mean, I'm sure you know Keanu Reeves though. I mean, you watched, he had to drive past at some point.
I know some of his work. Who I was really excited to see when I worked on the film was Marcus Chong. You remember Marcus Chong?
No, I don't know who Marcus Chong is at all.
You don't remember Marcus Chong?
Mm-mm.
You remember Tank from the movie, the person who drove the Nebuchadnezzar?
That's okay. Okay, yeah, but that's why him?
Man, I love his work. He was on Street Justice from 1991, 1993.
Why do you know that?
You don't remember Street Justice?
Never heard of Street Justice a day in my life.
Man, you must be young. You must be a child if you never heard of Street Justice.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm not laughing at Street Justice. It's just the idea that I've never heard of this place. I mean, there's this show. Was it a show or a movie?
It was a TV show.
Oh, it was a show. Okay. I apologize. So I want to get to some tea, if you have any, if you're allowed to share, because you see a lot of things. So as a lot of security guard, you see a lot of things. Was there any drama or anything that you may have noticed on set of The Matrix that people may not know about, like behind the scenes type stuff?
All right. I'll be real with you. I kind of caused most of the drama on that set.
Oh, really?
You could probably Google about this if you look up my name. But so what happened was they brought me on. They knew that I was a security guy, so they brought me on to be the security sommelier to the agents, all the agents in the film.
Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to tell them how to move. A lot of those guys had never worn sunglasses before, so I was supposed to tell them how to put them on, how to wear your suit and everything. I was there and I was like, well, there ain't nobody who can play this part better than me. I need to be the agent. I need to do it.
So they put you in the movie somewhere?
No, they didn't.
Okay.
But I put myself in the movie.
You put yourself in the movie.
Yeah. So I kept showing up on days that they would film, because that's where they filmed. That's where they filmed the scenes. With the agents at my studio. So
you got your own studio?
No, the lot that I'm a security guard at.
Gotcha. You said it was your own studio. I'm sorry. I forgot you control everything. That's my fault.
I kind of took ownership over it because I get everybody in. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I came in as the agent, right? And I would just kind of sneak in the background and kind of just do my thing a little bit. I was a break dancer, a pop locker in the 80s, and so I would come in and I would do my little pop lock and stuff because the agents was moving all around. They was fighting. It was a bunch of them. You know what I'm saying? You remember the agents from the movie.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hugo Weaving played the main agent. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I didn't know that, but
you don't know who Hugo Weaving is?
I don't know who he is.
Man, who is this man interviewing me? You don't know who Hugo Weaving is? The legendary Hugo Weaving. He was the main agent. He was the main agent, and then everybody started looking like him. So I was there and I was in the background. I had my suit on, I had my shades on, and I started breakdancing. And they called cut, and I just moved to the back. They thinking they can't be talking about me, and turns out they were. And I was like, "Oh, I'm breakdancing too good. That's the problem." And they were just like, "No, Theroy, what are you doing here?" And I'm like, "Well, I've been training these guys pretty much on how to do this, but they wanted me out. And I still regret to this day that I probably was breakdancing too good and they didn't want me in the film. I still think that's what it was.
Yeah, not everybody use Lowry seasoning salt. So it's just they use regular salt sometimes. So I get it completely. Do you have any regrets? Like, did you because I'm pretty sure you probably told your family whatever, like, hey, I was on the movie. I was in the movie. Come check me out or whatever. At least assuming you'd be in it.
Yeah, so you asked if I had any regrets, and family you brought up, and that's my main regret because I did leave my wife and kids after that.
Oh.
And married a Swedish supermodel. And she took me for everything I had, which wasn't a ton. I was making about $47,000 a year. But she took all of that. And because I thought I was about to blow up. You know what I'm saying? You can't fault me. I was a young 41-year-old man at the time. I thought I was about to blow up. I thought this was my big break. Because they didn't really kick me off set. They allowed me to be in the background. And I thought that was going to be, people was going to see me back there, popping and locking. And I thought that was going to be it. I thought that was going to be it right there. So,
yeah. So where do you think this side of, so I need to be the man, saying like, I need to get the best of the supermodel and everything like that. Where do you think this came from? Because I can't see Lawrence Fishburne and Keanu breakdancing with you. Maybe Lawrence got a little bit of seasoning, and maybe Lawrence Fishburne out to breakdance with you. But where do you think this came from? Like maybe in your life or something like that, where it was like, you just got to be that guy.
I'll tell you, and this is a traumatic story. When I was young, a robber broke into our house.
Oh no!
And just started stealing everything right in front of us. And my dad, he was gone at the time. He was at work. And it was me, my mom, and my sisters. And I was the man of the house. And the robbers just looked at me. And they called me a pudgy little cookie boy. And they just took everything in the house. So at that moment, I vowed to be the protector at all times.
That sounds like the beginning of a superhero movie, sir. That was beautiful.
And I basically became a superhero at that point.
And yes, you did. You that security guard, you got a badge. I don't know if you got a cape or not. You might, I don't know about that part, but you're there to protect people.
I'm there to protect people, and I'm there to make sure cars don't come in and out. Because I forgot to tell you that robber, the way they got in the house, that they drove their car through the house.
Oh wow! So y'all must have had a lot of stuff in the house. Driving the car through a house just to rob it.
Yeah, they really wanted to add insult to injury, and there were injuries too. One of my sisters got ran over. She got pinned against the wall.
Oh no!
Yeah. And I felt like it was my fault. And I carried that with me all my life.
Yeah, this is definitely the origins of a superhero movie you are, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Theroy, the security guard. Part 1, episode 1.
The security sommelier.
The security sommelier, episode 1. And it's just a comic book picture strip of you with like your security guard outfit on, holding a glass of wine.
Oh yeah. I like that idea. I like that.
I'm here. Like this is truly inspiring. So just two more questions. Was The Matrix the biggest movie you've ever seen on the lot? Because we both know when it came out, it was massive. Was that the biggest one you've ever done?
Nah, that definitely wasn't the biggest one. Cruel Intentions 2 was the biggest one.
Cruel Intentions 2. I didn't know they made a second one.
You didn't know that, man? You must be young. You must be a newborn. You don't remember Cruel Intentions 2?
Not the second one. No, I have not. I've not heard that.
My gosh. It had Robin Dunn in it, Sarah Thompson, Carrie Lynn Pratt, and some lady named Amy Adams. I don't really know her work.
Yeah, you've definitely humbled me, and I need to go back and review a lot of these things because I don't know any of them. So that's definitely something I have to do. So what is Theroy doing now?
I'm still security guarding. I'm still security guarding. I'm at Universal now.
More money?
A little bit of a jump up. More money. To help with inflation. That was years ago. That's 25 years ago. Whatever. I'm doing pretty well now. Doing good. Up to about $68,000 a year. Yeah,
that's great.
Got my wife back.
Okay, yeah. I'm glad things are working out, Theroy. I'm glad things are working out, man.
Yeah, happy ending, if you will. Just like Coyote Ugly, my other favorite movie that I ever worked on.
Okay, now I've heard of that one.
Heard of it. You mean you haven't watched it? You haven't watched it a million? Oh my gosh, man. I got to make you a list.
Yeah, I mean that'd be great. Just make me a list of all the movies. I'm pretty sure there's a couple, trilogies out there that I've never heard of. So that'd be great.
Absolutely. I got you.
Yeah, thank you. So I want to thank Theroy for joining us on this interview portion of the Novelizers. Theroy was great to talk to you.
Great to talk to you as well.
All right, guys, please enjoy the rest of the podcast.
Thank you, Carl. And thank you, Steve, for...
well, thank you, Stephen. I hope we get to do many more of these.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to sign you up for another one then.
All right, I'm in, man. You know that.
Awesome. Well, special thanks to Steve Agee, David Dastmalchian, and Carl Tart. Join us next time for a special episode featuring Yo Is This Racist? Andrew T., written by our own ch10 Bokil, plus another interview. Stephen, unplug us. Oh, wait, you should say that. Fellow Stephen.
Stephen, unplug us.
The Novelizers is produced by me, Stephen Levinson, with Graham Douglas, Kevin Carter, Christine Bowen, Dennis DeClaudio, Rob Kuttner, and ch10 Bokil. Music by Cole Emhoff. Graphic design by Crystal Dennis. Theme song by Andrew Lynn, performed by Knots. Reprise, performed by Paige Beller. Special thanks to Chris Karwowski and WYSO Radio in Yellow Springs, Ohio. The Novelizers is a work of parody unauthorized by Warner Brothers. Follow The Novelizers on Instagram, Threads, Facebook, and TikTok, and please donate to our Patreon. Copyright 2024, Novelizers, LLC.
There was a matrix made of computers. There was a guy who could dodge all the bullets. He lived in fluid, just like a fetus. But he was born again like baby Jesus. Novelize that movie, write a book, and also read it too.